Okay, so let's talk about what happened today. Um, Essentially, we had turnaround Tuesday for most of the day, and then we have a late around 3 o'clock, a little bit after 3 o'clock, we had a late afternoon session sell off. And this is why I don't like making bad trades. As I said yesterday, and I'll go over what happened here. Here it is. Yesterday, I made the early trade that to sell the put, hoping to get the other leg on a bounce. And so at 32.50, I sold one put at 32.50, hoping to sell the call on a bounce. And unfortunately, well, it's not unfortunate. It's essentially it's what happened. It sailed all the way down, and by the end of the day, I was carrying around a $3,000 loss. So to mitigate my risk, right? So this mistake right here, I didn't know how to manage it. At this end, it was essentially close to low of days, right? If you look at it right here, this is at 3:30. At 3:30, it was the low of days, 31.75. A little bit of a bounce back, but still below the 200-day moving or the VWAP, below the key range of 3,200, and I was carrying a loss, and I didn't want. So I had to sell a call option. So I sold one call option, um, and what after I sold the call option, I did my analysis, and that's when I saw all these bounce candidates. So all these bounce candidates assure me that tomorrow is going to be turnaround Tuesday, because you don't get these type of signature without the market rebounding across the board on these key um, stocks, right? And there's other stocks, but these are some of the big ones, right? You can see every one of them was bouncing off a key critical level. Nvidia, Facebook, Microsoft, Google is a big one. Shopify, iSurge, Adobe, right? So right there, I knew I made a mistake, but I had to play it out. So what happened today? Well, here's what happened today. Uh, it gapped up. So let's just go through that, right? Gapped up. So this gap up, I knew, pre-market, I knew that was going to happen. However, I had to determine what to do next. My hands were tied because right now on a gap up, yes, I'm down on the call option, but there's no way for me to anticipate, this run up. It's just impossible to see this run up. I had to hold, because if I would have covered the call option for like a $500, $600 loss, I think it was 600 at the time. What if it turned around in the morning? Quickly, it could have turned around and sold off. We've seen that before many times, and therefore I would have lost 600 on the call option and get flushed out on the put option. That would have been a loss of 600 plus probably 4,000. So that's 4,600 of potential loss that could be in place if it turned around. Now, of course, had I did my analysis, 10, 15 minutes beforehand, and it's just what I'm going to do from now on, is do my analysis beforehand, so I have a better feeling of what to expect for the next day. I would have not sold that call option. Now I probably would have sold a call option somewhere up here. I had to protect the put option that I was underwater, but that's okay. Selling it up here, I could have held at least a little bit, and both my options would have been profitable, or eventually. Well, not eventually, but it would have been a better situation. Um, Instead, what happened was that I held both options. So now I have one call option at that I sold at 3,200 and one put option that I sold at 3,250. They're uneven straddle. Actually, it's called a strangle, but I just call it a straddle. And in the meantime, I day traded, you know, mainly just picking up small bits here and there, right? These are the small trades. The big trades, the one I like to hold, is the one where I sell the option, so it would be a negative. You know, when you see a negative, it's when I sell the options. Those are the big ones that I go after. These small ones where I buy the options, I don't tend to hold them very long because I have no idea. I'm just not confident enough to hold options that long unless, unless I'm really sure of the direction. So I made a total of 750. Yesterday I made a total of 1400, but my position right now is sitting at a loss of 2300 for all three options. Why do I have three options instead of two? Well, I'll tell you why. This is another stupid mistake. So this 15-minute, right, it's a very critical trend line. I've been saying all along this is a major card when you're trying to determine exactly where the direction is intraday and also, the overall direction. It's not as strong as the 60 minutes. However, you can see the 60 minutes is way up here. It's way too far to influence the direction right now. The price action has to reach 38.2 before this 60 minutes. It's like the sun, the gravity of the sun, the farther it is away, it doesn't impact the price action. Right now, it has very small action influence on the price action. So the 15 minutes, normally it's not an ace king, but right now it's an ace king because you can neglect or, ignore the 60-minute trend line. So if you look at this closely, this is a blank seed, right? And I wrote it right here. Let me turn this off. Blank seed. 1, 2, 3. This last one at 2 o'clock was essentially a new high. So at that point, it's in the afternoon, right here. It's in the afternoon, so a new high here. For some reason, I don't know why, I set up a order and a hanging order, which means I left it hanging without monitoring it on VWAP. And guess what happened? Well, failed to see that a failure. This is a failure of the 15 minutes, right? When it fails to break out, a condition where a breakout leads to, newer highs or what happened, quickly turn into a sell-off. And this VWAP 5-minute line, which looks good at the time because the whole entire day was strong. I mean, the whole day was strong. Look at these call options were strong. These call options were very strong, and it wasn't the only one, right? There was other call options. This one has 12. I mean, across the board, they're pretty strong. The puts are decent too, but it's not anything that would indicate that there was going to be a reversal. Well, guess what? There is a reversal. And why was there a reversal? Well, I mean, this is a trap. But the key reason why there's a reversal is twofold. One, uh, so pretty much because of this right here, this is a $1,000 trap, right? $1,000 loss on this one here, trap. So yesterday I lost 3,000, more than 3,000. I just wrote 3,000, right? Yesterday, 3,000 on this stupid mistake, and today 1,000 on this stupid mistake. These are both amateur mistakes, rookie mistakes that I've seen before, and it's just bad habits, brain seeds, just failing to really be a robot. It's so difficult to be a robot, I tell you. But going forward, what are we seeing going forward? That's the important part. Well, first of all, let me explain why it sold off today and why going forward I am going to be monitoring. I'm no longer going to be monitoring the VXX, which is the ETF. I'm going to be monitoring this guy. This is the key guy right here, the VIX. Okay, if you look at this VIX, here, let's see, let's set this to a 15 minutes, and let's set this up to a 60 minutes, and let's put the 7 and 3. So if you look at this, okay, this is the key component on what's going on. First of all, you know this is the key component because initially this was the Monday that set up the whole sell-off, right? And then they battle to manipulate to short the VIX. So the whole market recovered, or the rescue of the market, the stability of the market was because of the VIX. They shorted the VIX. They control the VIX. Once it reaches a flat line or baseline, there's always a reattempt, or most of the time there's a reattempt. In this case, it was a secondary hit or a response on the VIX, lots of short covering, and now there's a battle. So this key battle is important, and it's at the 60-minute trend line. So what I failed to see on that $3,000 loss was this VIX gapped up. Okay, this VIX gap up, the VXX was negative at the time because the VXX has a lot of just different calculation and contango that it doesn't really represent the VIX, right? So the the VIX volatility is what you need to look at. This gap up is because right at the last minute, you can see, oh, yesterday, the last 60 minutes, they recovered the VIX just slightly. So that recovery of the VIX led to this response higher, okay? And then, of course, that's going to lead to a short squeeze. That entire short squeeze, right, all the way up to this top up here, right? This is why Amazon sold off yesterday. This is why the QQQ sold off yesterday. This is why most of the major stocks, the high flyers, Google, Shopify, Microsoft, Apple, etc., sold off. It wasn't because Bezos was selling his automatic sales. It was because of the VIX and the VIX attempting to break out. Okay, of course it failed, right? On the third attempt to break out, it failed. Now, I didn't say, of course, like I knew it was going to happen. I'm saying, because it failed, guess what? This right here is the indication of turnaround Tuesday. Just that guy right there. A failure to break out, and right here. That is an indication of turnaround Tuesday. Had I done my proper analysis, I would have saw this fading off. I would have saw this. I would have saw these bounce candidates, all of these bounce candidates. I would have knew of turnaround Tuesday. And I wouldn't have sold that call option, at least not at the close. I would have sold it somewhere in the morning to offset my put option. Well, guess what happened? Right, next day or today, Tuesday, turnaround Tuesday, gap lower. Of course, market was higher, and of course, it went back down to the 60. Very important. 60 minutes is the key trend line. Like I said, this is the ace king, the card that you need to pay attention to if you want to determine the direction of the overall market and the individual stocks. So guess what? They try to sell it off multiple times. And even at the very, I guess here, right? This is around 3 o'clock or something. 3 o'clock. And then they battle. This little bit of battle. Short covering of the VIX, this little bit of the battle is the reason why Amazon sold off and was a trap at the VWAP, surpassing the VWAP. Once the weakness comes in, the shorts are gonna pound it. Weakness come in, VIX strength, shorts are gonna pound it. Longs are gonna to just sell out. Too much fear. Right, this is across the board. The QQQ now sitting at the VWAP. Where's Apple at? So Apple is also it's also close to the VWAP. Yeah, it's right at the VWAP. So I think let's see what happened, right? So where is the 60 right now? Well, it's above the 60. So this is at a neutral position. When it's right at the 60 on the close, right? Yesterday or the day before yesterday, it was above the 60. Right now the VIX is sitting right at the 60. So it's a neutral bias. It can be, up or down depending on where. Now Wednesday is normally turnaround, not reversal Wednesday. So reversal Wednesday typically means that the QQQ is going to recover. Let's see what the futures are pointing right now. I think it's probably should be flat. Actually, it's negative, right? But that doesn't mean anything really. I don't think it's gonna be a sell-off. What is the VIX right now? The VIX is up in the futures by 1%. So this VIX that I mentioned, which is currently, at the closest flat line, is actually up here. So probably tomorrow you're gonna see a gap down on many of the stocks based on what I'm seeing, based on the analysis of the VIX. Higher VIX means it's gonna gap down. So I'm probably going to see how the VIX looks. And so these bounce candidates that I did not pick up today, I'm gonna potentially try to put levels to pick them up. Limit orders, right? I'm going to try to pick up some of these guys, really depending on how the VIX looks. Now, if the VIX stays really strong, right? If the VIX stays strong and start to break out, and you can probably see that on the VXX volume, right? The VXX will give you direction as far as the relative strength of the VIX. Higher volumes on the VXX indicates higher strength on the VIX. So that's what I'm gonna monitor tomorrow is both this guy as far as volume and also the rate of change, but also on the actual VIX index itself. It's very important to look at this guy because this is the one you have to pay attention as far as the general direction in regards to the 60-minute trend. Failure of the 60 minutes, of course, indicates the market will recover. A breakout above the 60 minutes and you have a sell-off similar like what you have on Monday, I believe. Yeah, Monday was that sell-off. So I'm still sitting on I'm sitting on three options. Two put option that I sold. One was stupid that I did at the very end or close to the end that I don't know how to get out. And the other one, I probably will cover one of them tomorrow. No, I can't cover one of them because if it goes down, there's no way I can cover them. So I don't know what to do. Yeah, I don't know what to do to be honest. Because the only way I can cover is if one of them go up, or if the market goes up and then maybe somewhere along the line I can cover. But overall, let's see what the direction is. Reversal Wednesday does not look good because look at that. The QQQ is below the 100. The volume is negative, and that's why the futures are negative. Looking at this now in hindsight, this does not look good for the QQQ. The SPY, of course, volume is still relatively weak. It's above the 100 or right at the 100. This is including after hours, but 60 minutes is sitting right at VWAP. It's probably gonna be testing the 100. IWM normally goes nowhere. Now the Dow Jones is what correlated with the VIX. So if you look at the Dow Jones, this is the reason why the VIX um, increase in the final hour, right? It's because the Dow Jones failed to break out of the 60. So like I said, everything is tied together. All the programs, all the signals, all the technical indicators. You just got to find the link. You got to be able to find the link, and when you see it, it's clear as day, right? Here is the Dow Jones trying to break out of the 60. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last one was the biggest one, the high of the high. It's gonna be high of day essentially. but it failed, and then this one collapsed. This is the reason why the VIX increased in value and why the market sold off. Once the VIX increased in value, once the Dow Jones failed to break out, it triggers everything to fail. It triggers the QQQ, the SPY, and then of course all the big techs, Amazon's across the board, right? Google, Shopify, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, right here, Apple, Tesla. So where is Tesla going, by the way? Here's Tesla, right? Still sitting at the 15 minutes. So how many times can it sit at the 15 minutes before, it collapse, I guess? I mean, how many times? This is probably like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you go back even further, I mean, geez, it's more than 10, right? We have about 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I don't know, but it's a lot. It's a lot. I think as many times as it's testing the 15, it's bound to get down. I mean, right now the signal is getting pretty negative. I might sell a call option rather than buy the put option. I might sell a call option, try to get it down to here. We'll see. I'm not sure if I will or not. Because I already have 3 options to sell, and I entered into a Shopify today in my small trading account. And of course, I'm probably going to be negative tomorrow because I sold right here at 61.8. Dumb enough, I sold the put option. And of course, this sell off. So I'm hoping for Shopify to bounce tomorrow. So if it bounce, maybe Tesla will bounce. Maybe I will have to wait for a bounce before trying to sell the call option, because I don't think this is gonna, well, unless the whole market collapse tomorrow, then this is gonna collapse. Apple, again, this is negative too, right? So yeah, it looks like Wednesday is gonna be potentially it's gonna be a sell-off Wednesday, because they're gonna try to hit the VIX. Now it is the beginning of Q4. It also is the starting of earnings is around the corner in 2 weeks. So I'm not sure how much further on the VIX is going to. Maybe to Wednesday would be a hard hit day. As far as the VIX is gonna go up, maybe Wednesday will be it. And then I don't know, maybe they had one last steam up before, next week is gonna be a recovery, and then of course earnings is gonna stabilize this whole thing. This could all be just reshuffling of stocks essentially. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. This is the beginning of Q4. VIX is showing a lot of volatility and I guess interest. A lot of volatility. So there's a lot of fighting going on. So yeah, tomorrow I'm expecting a gap down. I will need to monitor closely these target, but again, need to monitor this VIX and the VXX, see how much volume is coming in. I don't think the volume on the options are gonna worth that much tomorrow as far as signals. It can be misdirection. So I might have to buy a put option tomorrow and hold on to it because I have, of course, or I might just sell a call option to. I might have to sell a call option to balance because I got 2 put options and only 1 call option. So that's all I got for now.